you install one of these stoves for me at my house? What's important for me as a homeowner to know about?
The primary thing you need to look at first is how close the stove, the heating side of the stove, is to a combustible wall. This is a non-combustible wall, but if it's combustible, it has to be protected. So that's part of the installation process, as would be the chimney system and the connector pipe.
Okay.
But as far as the maintenance is concerned, that pipe is a functional part of the stove that has to be kept clean.
Can I ask you a question? So does the kind of wood that I'm burning determine or affect the frequency of cleaning of the chimney?
Very, very definitely. So good dried wood, which has a low moisture content, is much, much better and will give you more heat than unseasoned wood or recently cut wood or wood with a high moisture content.
Okay.
So if you have a low moisture content, you burn the stove hot. You start with a clean chimney at the beginning of the year. You should be very, very safe. And then you have to monitor that.
Okay.
As you burn wood, the chimney condition could change and could load up with creosote, and that would be a hazard.
What about cleaning the inside of the stove?
Yeah,
is that a requirement, or is that?
Cleaning the inside is more for convenience. So we've got a nice new fire in here. There's not much ash in the bottom of the stove, but over time there will be. So you need to take that ash out, and you have a potential of taking a live coal. So if you take the ash out, it should go into a container, a metal container with a lid.
So this container is specifically designed for that?
It is. Yes.
Okay.
All right. It could be anything that's made of metal and has a top.
Right.
That's just a little more handsome to put on.
But you sell something that's
We do.
designed just
Yes,
for that.
we
Okay.
do.
And so cleaning the chimney, is that something a homeowner should try to do themselves?
Possibly, yes.
Okay.
But if you're not comfortable being on a roof or working with your hands, there are professionals in the area who will do it.
Okay.
They'll inspect the stove at the same time. They'll probably clean it up, give you extra service, but they'll make sure that the chimney is clean, and that's the important thing.
Are there any things that ever have to be replaced on the stove because they wear out, like this handle or the hinges or anything at all that?
Those could all be an issue, but the more important thing is the gasket around the door that seals the door to the face of the stove. That gasket definitely wears out after a year or two.
Oh.
So it should be torn off, re-glued, a new piece glued on.
All right. Can I do that myself?
Definitely.
As a homeowner,
Yes.
that's an easy thing to do?
Yeah. That's really one of the only replacement parts that you'd have to add.
Okay.
Everything else should be pretty stable for years.
So this is measuring the temperature just on the chimney, or what is it doing?
Hopefully in the pipe, and they're the same thermostat, and they're registering a little bit different, but it gives you a range. And we're in the orange range. That's where we want to be. So we have enough heat in here to generate heat up into the chimney and keep the chimney warm.
How hot is that chimney right now? What does that say?
The inside temperature is 400 or 500 degrees.
400 to 500 degrees on the inside of that chimney.
We want that chimney to stay hot so that you don't get creosote, so that the carbons and the moisture in the wood doesn't end up inside the chimney, that it goes to the outside.
So that orange range is where we want to be.
Yeah, the deep red or orange is too hot. You're wasting heat, you're overheating the stove.
And if it's in the yellow,
then it's too cool, and you
too
need
cool,
to give
you're
it,
building up
you need to
creosote
give it
maybe.
more air to get a hotter fire.
Now I noticed this little blower, but that's not part of the stove.
It's not part of the stove, but it works just to move a little bit of heat off the stove. It doesn't use any electrical power. It generates its own power from the difference of the heat here to the difference on the hot surface.
The heat of the stove is powering that fan.
Exactly.
Okay, thanks George.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you.